Welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover the GoBot's Gobotron base. This is a scratch build that I did quite some time ago, and I decided to try to make it as compact as I could, but also make it functional and also make it really fun. As you guys can tell, it's quite huge. It's a very large playset. This playset was supposed to come out in the 80s, and it never made it because the GoBots line got nixed before they got to the point to make the Gobotron base. Although it's in a lot of catalog promos, it's not actually been produced. So this is my version of it because I decided to take it upon myself to make my own. Now, to let you guys know, I have made this thing out of foam core. I did make it out of cardboard as well, and add some plastic bits and pieces and a little bit of aluminum foil and such, just to kind of give it the look that I was looking for. Now, I know it's not 100% accurate because you can't really do that unless you're 3D printing. I don't know how to 3D print. I don't have ability to 3D print. And on top of it, it's a lot of math that I really am not the greatest at. So I'd rather leave that up to the guys that can do that. But I decided to create my own. So this Gobotron base is designed for primarily my monster GoBots. They're actually packed away right now at the moment, but I wanted to show you guys the base itself and give you guys a bit of a tour. As you guys can tell, it's not very wide, at least in its folded up state. And this thing is enormous, I'm telling you, it's really big. It's like, okay, that's the back of my backdrop now. It's pretty big. And if you notice, it actually does have the yellow bits right here kind of painted in, where it would have kind of like the eyes to it, as I like to call it. It's got this huge doorway and then the large pillar. And to kind of give you guys a bit of a look at it, it's got the nice foil top. This sadly does not open. I don't have any real way of creating a opening portion here on top for the little gunner thing, but that's okay because it doesn't necessarily need that. It's got a lot of other cool little features I've built into it. One thing that's kind of neat is the fact that the eye portion here can actually rotate and turn, which I find is really cool. The front door does open, so you just kind of push on it and it will open up, and then you can successfully put a GoBot. You got my custom jolt here, and GoBots fit just fine, which is perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. I wanted something that would actually fit this scale, because I'm more into the smaller scale stuff. You guys out there that are into Generation 2 or the core class Transformers, Megatron's a little large for the doorway. I can probably fudge it where I can get him to fit, but it probably isn't going to fit very well. But this is mainly for little shorter robots, nothing huge and tall. It's actually kind of perfect for the little Power of the Primes guys. Fits in the door just fine. And it's just kind of what I'm into. I'm into this size, so this scale is pretty perfect. I kind of wish Megatron was a little shorter for it, but that's okay. I could have made it a little taller, but with all the mechanism and such that I had to build inside this when it folds out, yeah, it's kind of difficult to do. And the door does swing to both sides. I can swing it either direction, so if I needed to get somebody through each passage, I could. But it's kind of cool. I do have like a little techie detail there with like a little button right there that they can press to open up the door, which is cool. The original would actually have like a door that opens side to side, which is very difficult for me to do. in this fashion. Anyway, let's get into some more of the things this thing has. Both sides have got this huge yellow portion here, which is supposed to simulate the windows. The windows on the original would be like red. I wanted to use yellow to match the eyes because it kind of looks cool when you fold it out with the yellow striping. So to fold this thing out, it's pretty simple. Really just turn it around, and here's the back of it. These can be ramps if you want them to, but they just kind of fall off in here. They don't really do much. It's kind of a cool little thing I did just to kind of close this up. The original would actually have like an opening door down here for a jail cell kind of thing, which I'll get more into the jail cell thing here in a second. But yeah, so let's go ahead and open this thing up the other direction. That way you guys can see the full front portion. And all you do really is just spread this part like this and kind of center the bit, and there you go. There it is in its fortress mode, and I find it quite cool. It's a really unique piece that I've made, and I really enjoy the size. The size scale is just absolutely perfect, because if you put a GoBot right here just in the doorway without even opening the door, it scales very well with them. If you wanted GoBots to be running around outside underneath it, you can, because it does have plenty of room for that as well. Not sure if Megatron could do it. Let's see if Megatron can stand underneath. Oh, yeah, he does. Stands in there just fine. So yeah, it's got some height for this portion. But as for the doorway is a little squat for the core class to kind of fit through. Kind of wish I would have made it just a little more taller, but it's really hard to do, especially with the mechanism here. So let's flip this around to the back, so I'll close it up here for a second. And spin it around. And then we'll just open it from the back portion. That way you guys can see the full set itself. And you guys can tell it is a large playset. It's very large when it's folded out. It's probably one of the largest playsets I've made to date. I do have one more I'm going to be reviewing that's pretty big, but this one here is the one that I've done to date that's actually probably the largest. As you guys can see, you got the whole the control deck here, which has actually got like a symbol here. It usually would be like a world map here that would flip. But one thing I did not leave out is the fact that it has computer panels over here on the sides, and it also has a jail cell over here. Now, to kind of get closer to the jail cell, let's do this real quick so I can show it to you. Jail cell's got a little bit of kind of like panel techie detail going on. And there you go, you guys can see the techie detail now. It's got like these panels here and here. And this whole thing here actually lifts up. And lifts up pretty high. So that way you can easily put any kind of GoBot you want to in here. And then you can close them up. It's kind of tricky. Like I said, some of this stuff's made of plastic, some of it's made of cardboard, so it won't like fall apart or anything because everything's been glued together very well. But I think it's kind of cool. I'm able to actually put a GoBot in there, and then you can have the ones out here monitoring it. And this is pretty stable. I mean, you're not going to have any issues setting a figure on these at all, because it holds everything pretty well. Let's take a quick look at the other side. closer look. And this primarily only has the just the main control panel in this. And this is a bit of a kind of a medical scanning machine. The original would do a thing where you would be able to like spin a wheel and be able to hide a GoBot behind it. So it was kind of like a false wall. So you'd be able to put a GoBot in front, spin it, and then that GoBot would go behind it and you wouldn't be able to see him anymore. And it had some electronics and such. I'm not really sure what those electronics did. It probably did some lighting up and some noises and such. But this is what I've done here with this part. And like I said, I mean, it fits GoBots in there just fine. If you want to. But Megatron out here you can. Megatron actually fits pretty well on this setup as well. And then your little Power of the Prime guys are pretty ideal for the size scale of this. So giving you guys a bit of an idea of what this entire thing is really capable of doing. I put a lot of time and effort into building this thing, and this isn't all of it, because there is more that it does. Another thing I really like that I've done, and you can have this completely splayed out and everything, is this little portion down here on the bottom. This right here, you pull it on this piece, it will actually open the entire rampway to reveal a science lab. And the science lab has actually got like a rack there, so that way if you wanted to put like one of your little Power of the Prime guys in there, you can. So that way they're just getting like worked on. And then you got like kind of a tech readout there, a little bit of tech readout stuff here on the wall. So I mean, you can successfully do this and be able to actually tuck these on the inside just fine. And then you wouldn't even know they're there. Like I said, this whole thing is kind of cool. I like what I've done with it. It's probably one of the most innovative designs I think I have come up with, especially building it out of foam core and cardboard and a little bit of plastic bits. But yeah, it's a really neat look at a piece of transforming robot history that really didn't even get its chance. And I do like this thing a lot. It doesn't even really weigh a whole lot, so it's kind of cool. Now you guys are probably wondering how I've got the mechanism all holding together. I actually used a wooden dowel. The wooden dowel worked just fine for holding everything together, and this top part here is actually like a half sphere of foam that I just covered really tightly with some foil, and just gives it that dome look that it needed. And I think it looks kind of cool. Some people may think it looks cheesy, but that's okay, because I'm into cheesy anyway. I'm into inexpensive playsets anyhow, and I didn't want anything to go to waste when I was going through a lot of different materials and such, because I'm not into wasting things. Another thing I did do, if you noticed, I put control panels here on the sides. The original doesn't really have any control panels on the sides, but I thought it would be kind of nice to actually have these added in, so that way when it is opened up, just like so, it gives the robots something to do other than just kind of stand around. So then you can kind of put them in front of the control panels, and they could be, you know, working on readouts or trying to find out if they're being attacked, or that they're trying to do some kind of scientific experiment or whatever it is. I do find this kind of cool. I'm really into setting up displays, and displays are really neat. I'm also not against doing a little bit of photography with them, but I do find this really interesting. And some people out there will probably be like, well, you know, you can 3D print these. And I have seen a guy out there who has 3D printed one. His is fantastic. It's about twice the size of this one, which is cool, but I'm also like, that's a lot of room for one small playset that you're probably not going to do much with. He even said there's no electronics in it. It doesn't do everything that it's supposed to function with, and this is as close as I could get for trying to build one out of just scratch build, because I actually like scratch building. I think it's more enjoyable, and it forces me to actually have to use my imagination to try to figure out how to make something work versus punching a couple buttons on a computer. That's just me. But anyway, this has been Plasticon. This has been yet another insane custom playset review. I'll see you guys around because I have plenty more coming your way. That's it for now. Bye!